Hello students, in the previous two lectures on solid state chapter 1 we had studied in detail the distinguish between crystalline solids and amorphous solids. And we had also studied in detail the important terms isotropy and anisotropy. Everyone knows by now that crystalline solids are those solids in which constituent particles are arranged in a regular rhythmic pattern over long range. And amorphous solids are those solids in which constituent particles are not arranged in a regular pattern over long range. We shall mainly focus on classification of crystalline solids in the lecture 3. On the basis of nature of constituent particles, and binding forces between them. Binding forces between them, crystalline solids can be classified into 4 categories. Once again, based upon nature of constituent particles and binding forces holding them, crystalline solids can be classified into 4 types. The largest group of crystalline solids is molecular solids. In molecular solids, the constituent particles are molecules, and binding forces that hold these molecules together are van der Waals forces. So if they ask the definition what are molecular solids, then using this information we can very well define molecular solids. Molecular solids are those crystalline solids in which constituent particles are molecules and binding forces are van der Waals forces. So this is the way we can define molecular solids. Once again, molecular solids are those crystalline solids in which constituent particles are molecules and binding forces are van der Waals forces. Molecular solids represent the largest group in crystalline solids. Roughly 90% of crystalline solids are molecular solids. Almost all organic compounds represent molecular solids, and everyone knows crystalline, and everyone knows organic compounds are infinite in number, and most of them represent molecular solids. So please remember, molecular solids represent the largest group of crystalline solids. Alkane, alkene, alkyne, alcohols, carboxylic acids, they all are categorized as molecular solids. Once again, molecular solids are those crystalline solids in which constituent particles are molecules and binding forces are van der Waals forces. This is how you can define molecular solids. Methane is an example of molecular solid. So let us understand why methane represents a molecular solid. In your early standard, you had studied that the carbon atom present at the center of methane molecule is sp3 hybridized carbon. This carbon is attached to 4 hydrogen atoms present at the corners of regular tetrahedron. So this is how methane molecule is formed. The atoms of carbon and hydrogen, they are linked with each other with help of covalent bond. So you would be tempted to say that methane must be a covalent solid. But please remember, although covalent bond is present within the methane molecule, methane is considered as a molecular solid. Remember, the covalent bond is present within the molecule, but see here, the molecules are held together by van der Waals forces. As for example, everyone knows methane is a gas, but when it solidifies, then methane molecules arrange themselves in a regular rhythmic pattern over long range. Just very small fraction of it I have shown here. Remember, the main force present among the molecules of methane is van der Waals forces. These are molecules of methane and they are held together by van der Waals forces, and that is the reason why we consider methane as a molecular solid. Remember, van der Waals forces are the main forces existing between molecules, existing among molecules. And that is the reason why methane is considered as an example of molecular solid. Please remember, covalent bond is not the main force present between the molecules, present among the molecules. And that is why methane is not described as covalent solid. Methane is certainly a covalent compound. Here we are not interested in that. We are interested in classification of crystalline solids. So although methane has covalent bond within, it is not a covalent solid. The main force or forces that hold the methane molecules together in a solid sample of methane are van der Waals forces. And that is the reason why methane is an example of molecular solids. Thus, molecular solids are those solids in which constituent particles are molecules and binding forces are van der Waals forces. One more example of molecular solid is hydrogen. This is hydrogen molecule. Hydrogen molecule is consisted of two atoms. Everyone knows these atoms are held together by covalent bond, which is formed by sharing of electrons. But when hydrogen is solidified, then among the hydrogen molecules, the main force present is van der Waals forces. So please remember, although covalent bond is present within the molecules, between the atoms, methane, hydrogen, etc. are regarded as molecular solids, because the major binding force is van der Waals forces. Major binding forces are van der Waals forces. The second largest group in crystalline solids is ionic solids. In ionic solids, constituent particles are ions, cations and anions, and binding forces are electrostatic force of attraction. We can also call it ionic bond. So we can define ionic solids using these informations. What are ionic solids? If is the question, then answer will be ionic solids are those crystalline solids in which constituent particles are ions and binding forces are electrostatic force of attraction. Almost 99% or even more than that of crystalline solids are either molecular solids or ionic solids. The third type of crystalline solids are metallic solids. In metallic solids, constituent particles are metal ions embedded in a pool of delocalized electrons, and binding force or binding forces are metallic bond. So, how do you define metallic solids? Metallic solids are those crystalline solids in which constituent particles are metal ions embedded in a pool of delocalized electrons, and binding forces are metallic bond. Remember, in the beginning of 20th century, we had idea about two types of chemical bond, namely ionic bond and covalent bond. And even there is one more type of bond which is called a coordinate covalent bond. Basically, coordinate bond is covalent bond in which the shared pair SHARED, shared pair of electrons is brought by one of the partners. So there is a whole chapter on coordination compounds in which you are going to study special type of bond called coordinate covalent bond. But basically it is a covalent bond. So we had a profound knowledge on covalent bond and ionic bond in the beginning of 20th century. But they do not explain certain amazing behavior of metals such as ductility, malleability, thermal conductivity, electrical conductivity. These exceptional qualities of metals could not be explained on the basis of ionic bond or covalent bond. So a new theory was given that could explain ductility, malleability, thermal conductivity, electrical conductivity of metals. And according to that theory, the constituent particles within the metals are metal ions embedded in a pool of delocalized electrons, and the forces binding them are metallic bond. Please remember, if ionic bond is present in a metal, then or covalent bond, then it cannot explain ductility and malleability. So obviously metals will not have ionic bond or covalent bond within to explain the properties of ductility, malleability, etc. A new theory has been formulated, and the theory is called electron C theory, and according to that theory, the constituent particles present inside metals are, please remember, metal ions embedded in a pool of delocalized electrons, and they are bound together by metallic bond. So we are going to study after the discussion of classification of crystalline solids. For time being, remember the definition of metallic solids. Metallic solids are those crystalline solids in which constituent particles are metal ions embedded in a pool of delocalized electrons, and binding forces are metallic bond. The last group, the smallest group of crystalline solids is covalent solid. The definition of covalent solids. Covalent solids are those crystalline solids in which constituent particles are atoms, and binding forces are covalent bond. So this is how we can define all these terms. Let us define together. Molecular solids are those crystalline solids in which constituent particles are molecules and binding forces are van der Waals forces. Ionic solids are those crystalline solids in which constituent particles are ions and binding forces are electrostatic force of attraction or ionic bond. Metallic solids are those crystalline solids in which constituent particles are metal ions embedded in a pool of delocalized electrons, and binding forces are metallic bond. Covalent solids or network solids are those crystalline solids in which constituent particles are atoms, and binding forces are covalent bond. Diamond is an example of covalent solid or network solid. Let us understand why diamond is an example of covalent solid. In a diamond, carbon atom, each carbon atom in fact is a sp3 hybridized carbon atom, and it is attached to 4 carbon atoms present at the corners of regular tetrahedron. Now you will surprised to know that almost same structure is present here in methane, but then we described methane as molecular solid and we are describing diamond as covalent solid. Why is it so? Let us understand. Remember, these represent a molecule of methane, but this particular structure does not represent molecule because every carbon atom in diamond is a center of regular tetrahedron formed by 4 carbon atoms present at the corners. Remember, this fraction cannot be described as molecule. However, this can be described as molecule. Okay, atoms of these molecule and this molecule do not have any connection. That means they are not linked by sharing of electrons. But there exists van der Waals forces between them. And here all carbon atoms are of equal status. And they are arranged in such a way that each carbon atoms become the center, each carbon atom becomes the center of a regular tetrahedron formed by other 4 carbon atoms present at the corners. Okay, remember this group is described as molecule, this group of 5 atoms. But this group of 5 atoms is not described as molecule, because these atoms, in fact every carbon atom is attached to 4 other carbon atoms, and ultimately they form giant network. And that is the reason why the constituent particle in diamond is not molecule, it is the atom. Whereas constituent particle in methane is molecule. So please remember, the constituent particle in diamond is an atom, and the forces holding these atoms together is covalent bond. And that is the reason why diamond is an example of covalent solid. Thus, covalent solids are those solids in which constituent particles are atoms and binding forces are covalent bond. Molecular solids are those crystalline solids in which constituent particles are molecules and binding forces are van der Waals forces present between them. Remember, the relative strength of different types of bonds is this. Metallic bond is stronger than ionic bond, which is stronger than covalent bond, and covalent bond is stronger than van der Waals forces. So this is the order of relative strength of various binding forces present in crystalline solids. Metallic bond is stronger than ionic bond, which is stronger than covalent bond, and finally we have van der Waals forces. So please remember, van der Waals forces present among the molecules, they are the weakest binding forces, and that is the reason why molecular solids are soft and light, and they have low melting and boiling point, and they can exist as solids or liquids or gases. Please remember, ionic solids, metallic solids, and covalent solids, they are always solid at room temperature, except mercury and gallium, all metals are solid. Similarly, all ionic solids are solids at room temperature. Covalent solids are also solid at room temperature, but molecular solids can be either solid or liquid or gas at room temperature. The reason behind that is the molecules in molecular solids are held together by van der Waals forces, which are weakest among all the different types of binding forces. And that is the reason why molecular solids exist under normal condition either as solid or liquid or even gas. However, other types of crystalline solids are solids at room temperature except mercury, gallium, etc. So, and all this is because of this particular order of relative strength. Metallic bonds are strongest and van der Waals forces are the weakest among the different types of binding forces. Molecular solids represent the largest class, largest group. Therefore, it is further classified into three types. They are non-polar molecular solids, polar molecular solids, and hydrogen bonded molecular solids. So please remember, molecular solids are further classified into three types: non-polar molecular solids, polar molecular solids, and hydrogen bonded molecular solids. In non-polar molecular solids, the constituent particles are non-polar molecules and binding forces are dispersion forces. Dispersion forces or London forces. Please remember, non-polar molecular solids, the constituent particles are non-polar molecules. All these molecules are non-polar molecules that you have studied in your 11th standard. And binding forces present between them are dispersion forces or London forces. In polar molecular solids, the constituent particles are polar molecules like SO2, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, HCl, HBr, HI, etc. And binding forces are dipole-dipole interactions. Dipole-dipole interactions. So please remember, polar molecular solids are those solids in which constituent particles are polar molecules and binding forces are dipole-dipole interactions. And hydrogen bonded molecular solids are those solids in which constituent particles are highly polar molecules like water, HF, NH3, alcohol, carboxylic acid, etc. And binding forces are hydrogen bonding. So please remember for MCQs and all, in non-polar molecular solids, constituent particles are non-polar molecules, and binding forces are dispersion forces. In polar molecular solids, constituent particles are polar molecules, and binding forces are dipole-dipole interactions. In hydrogen bonded molecular solids, constituent particles are highly polar molecules. Here just polar molecules, and here highly polar molecules, and binding forces are hydrogen bonding. Please remember, dispersion forces, dipole-dipole interactions, and hydrogen bonding, they are types of van der Waals forces. Okay, van der Waals forces are of different types, such as dispersion forces, dipole-dipole interactions, and hydrogen bonding. So these together are called van der Waals forces. Let us summarize our discussion. Crystalline solids can be classified into four types: molecular solids, ionic solids, metallic solids, covalent solids, depending upon nature of constituent particles and binding forces between them. We have studied definitions of all this. We have also studied that molecular solids can be further classified into three types, namely non-polar molecular solids, polar molecular solids, and hydrogen bonded molecular solids. Remember few characteristics of different types of crystalline solids. Molecular solids are soft and light. Ionic solids are hard and brittle. Metallic solids are hard and malleable, ductile. Covalent solids are extremely hard. So please remember, molecular solids are soft and light, ionic solids are hard but brittle, metallic solids are hard and heavy, most of them are heavy. Only alkali metals and alkaline metals are soft and light, but majority of metals are metallic solids are hard as well as heavy. Covalent solids are extremely hard. Molecular solids are solid, liquid, or gas at room temperature. They exist either as solid or as liquid or even as gas at room temperature. Ionic solids are always solid at room temperature. All ionic solids are solid at room temperature. Metallic solids are also solid at room temperature except mercury and gallium. Covalent solids are solids at room temperature. They have low melting and boiling point. They have high melting and boiling point. They have high melting and boiling point, and they have very high melting and boiling point because of their network behavior. They are extremely hard and they have very high boiling and melting point. They are a bad conductor of electricity. They are also bad conductor of electricity when they are solid, but they can conduct electricity in the molten state or in the form of their aqueous solution. Please remember, ionic solids are bad conductor of heat and electricity, rather electricity, but when they are solid, but they conduct electric current when they are in the molten state or when they are in the form of aqueous solution. As for example, sodium chloride, when is solid, it does not conduct electricity, but when we melt it, it will conduct electric current, or when we dissolve NaCl, sodium chloride, in water, it will conduct electric current. Metallic solid, as you know, they are good conductor of heat and electricity. Covalent solids are bad conductor of electricity except a graphite. So please remember, graphite is only one example of covalent solid which conducts electric current, whereas all other covalent solids do not conduct electric current. So this is about classification of crystalline solids. Please remember definitions and characteristics of different types of crystalline solids.